It was a little surprising that he didn't decide to have an answer, even if he didn't have the specifics of which office approved it and all that stuff. And I understand that he wanted to have the point by point timeline of what happened, and that he didn't know. But it was surprising that he decided not to use it as an opportunity to apologize to New York City, because there were a lot of people. And this is a case, it's a classic bubble issue. The White House wasn't aware of how much of an impact this had in New York City. And I think they got it, but after the fact. This was a total case of them being obsessed over swine flu, understandable, but not understanding the same type of issues were hitting New York City, who were also doubly worried about swine flu, and then all of a sudden CSM 47.
White House military office who is responsible for this decision. Who are they?
Well, this is actually this is a political appointee, the White House military office, a guy named Luis Caldera. He somebody he's held office before. Yes, he's a military veteran, but this is a political appointee, so this isn't a bureaucratic thing that you can push off on a bureaucracy. So this was clearly a case of miscommunication, and he fell on the sword, and he made the apology. Be curious to see if there's more coming out of his office.
And what about President Obama and Rahm Emanuel? Rahm Emanuel has told people that the president was very upset. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that's the word they've got now. The president was upset. Clearly, they hadn't told him about it. He hadn't heard about it. And when he found out about it, he was upset about it. If you watch Chuck Schumer's press conference, if you see Michael Bloomberg, it's clear that New York politicians lit up the White House phone lines, and that got those guys jumpy.
Do you think this tells us anything about how the White House operates or doesn't operate on this 100th day?
I don't. I think the fact is swine flu's like no cry. You know, you never know when you're suddenly facing a Katrina, and I think this White House is very nervous. They see what happened to the Bush administration. They don't want to get caught flat-footed on what is potentially a really terrible thing that could affect the world. And so they're so focused on that this is a case. This is what happens sometimes when you have one story dominating something. Other things can fall through the cracks. This one clearly did.
Well, your question with Robert Gibbs remind us of why White House correspondents are so important, right?
See, yeah. Tell Anna Marie Cox we shouldn't be eliminated completely. Sometimes we're useful.
Thank you, Chuck Todd.
All right.